The third episode of Andor gave way to the first climactic moment in this series, and one of the most intriguing uses of music in the Star Wars galaxy, which I'll break down today. This is Star Wars Music Analysis.
Do it.
The opening title music changes yet again, while still being a variation of the original Andor theme. This time, Britell continues to show the similarities between young and old Andor music by introducing the wooden percussion and chanting from the flashbacks into the opening title music. This then segues directly to a flashback, just like in Episode 2. The music continues softly in the background, but now Andor's actual theme is far more pronounced in the flashback than it was before. As a young Andor sees his face in the reflection, the music intensifies, and right before he begins smashing things and getting violent, the aggression and violence of the drums enter, foreshadowing the coming destruction. We then jump back to the present, and the music changes to the lusher string version of the theme as well. As the corporate tactical forces arrive at Ferrix, these musical attacks in percussion and low strings begin. I find this striking because up until now, we've never heard music when we see the corporate tactical forces headquarters. They're left feeling cold and sterile because of this. Now, they finally begin to receive an identity, but they still lack any kind of theme, notable for a strong antagonist within a Star Wars story. The entire episode continues to build from this moment, and the drum beat underneath everything helps to keep that energy going and ties the tension of the flashbacks with the current events as well. That tension continues all the way until a moment I'll talk about in a bit, but the key use of music in this episode is the use of scrap metal to signal the approach of the tactical forces. These aren't the best mechanisms for sound transfer since the metal is too dense to resonate well, but this is likely the best they could find while scrapping starships. And I appreciate that someone didn't try to over-enhance the sound of these like they did in the trailer. This idea is drawing on the concept of talking drums from tribal Africa. These drums could send audible signals from tribe to tribe and could sometimes create sound as far as 20 miles away. And every rhythm would have a different meaning so that tribes could communicate in both directions and have conversations about danger, weather, or nearly any other basic topics without having to travel.
Mr. Ita is signaling. A lion is near the village. It's now saying, run, run.
The drums were notably used as European explorers moved through the jungles. Even in a time before phones and internet, tribes knew of the explorers' arrival long before they arrived and could therefore be prepared in whatever way the tribe saw fit. Here, that same technique is being used to warn people on Ferrix of the tactical forces. And I don't think it's just intimidation or bluff and bluster, because the way that the citizens react when they hear this tells me that it means something specific to them. Lucky for these citizens that these aren't stormtroopers, because I doubt that they would have thought twice about just shooting anyone doing this. And there are multiple rhythms being played, so I want to see if we can break down what these different rhythmic patterns mean. The first rhythm we hear is simply 4 short notes. This seems to be the first rhythm that anyone plays until they notice someone else beginning. So this is likely just to grab the attention of the next signal, like a throat being cleared. From there, he goes to a rhythm of 3 long and 2 shorts. I don't know what this one means exactly, and it doesn't seem to play any significant role. Perhaps this is just where they play their individual rhythms in order to identify themselves to others. And finally, they move into this rhythm of 3 short, pause, 3 short, pause again, and then 4 short, calling back to the original signal. Now, with all of this said, there still tend to be inconsistencies, and I wish the production crew would have gone just a little further to reflect the concepts of traditional talking drums where every rhythm has a very specific meaning. Then we have the inevitable and unnerving silence that follows. It's the first time we actually realized just how distracting all of the percussive noise was, and it likely helped the rebel operatives on Ferrix to move around more freely amidst all of the chaos. The silence that follows leaves us feeling exposed. After being surrounded by so much sound, the silence makes us almost feel deaf at first, heightening our senses and survival instincts, and with that, one of the greatest weapons to a soldier: fear. After the speeder explodes, killing some of the tactical forces and leaving everyone in the wake of the episode's events, Andor's theme returns, almost indistinguishable at first underneath the sad and minor chord progression. The descending half step I mentioned in the last episode is the first noticeable melodic content. From there, the music slowly builds as everyone prepares for life after this day, the melody becoming more pronounced until it turns into its own full-on epic self, reflecting the proverbial phoenix ascending from its own ashes. But let me know what you think. I'm curious what you all thought of this third episode and the music. Was the talking drums concept effective to you? Tell me in the comments below and let me know if I've missed anything. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of a galaxy far, far away. And as always, may the be with you.